Laken Riley. We took Laken Riley, who was murdered by a Venezuelan illegal immigrant. And yes, I'm going to say Venezuelan. Some people say that, hey, this guy is from your country. Yes, they're very bad people. There are bad people everywhere, but this happened to be Venezuelan, just like me. And yes, for me, this monster must be removed from the face of the earth. As simple as that. This is something that I'm going to describe. I'm going to try to describe what's going on. What's happened that they were playing this video. They were playing the body cam video of the officer who arrived at the crime scene and trying to revive Laken, and they told everybody that whoever wanted to leave the courtroom at that moment could leave, because it was going to be a very strong. It is reported that Laken's mother left the courtroom at that moment, and it was really disturbing. I'm going to mute this. It was really disturbing to see the guy just watching only the description and all that went on, and how he murdered her in the most gruesome way, and especially how she fought for her life, is something that you want to ask yourself. You ask yourself, what do these people have some kind of soul? Because as a Christian, I have to believe that they have won. But what is the punishment in this case? What will be the punishment in this case? It was so horrific what happened, and people are complaining. Oh, people are trying to politicize this. Trump ran his campaign on this, and my question is, who the fuck left or allow this fucker to enter the United States? I don't care where he comes from. Who let this guy into the United States? And don't get me started that, oh no, the Venezuelans are the same. No, not all immigrants are the same. And that's true, because people have, both arguments. Oh no, you cannot say that all immigrants are criminals. At no point I have said that all immigrants or all illegal immigrants are criminals. Although we already saw that video with Tom Homan the other day, in which he put AOC on her place, telling her, just the fact that you enter the country illegally, that is a crime. You should go to the port of entry. So essentially, the law states that every single illegal immigrant is a criminal. It all depends on what kind of crime do you want. You want to add more crimes to that? You want to add theft to that crime, to the crime to enter in illegally? You want to add murder? You want to add rape? Well, so be it. But you have a whole menu, but you should be punished to the full extent of the law and then some. You have to make sure that you have punishment that is so severe that you will dissuade anybody from doing the same. That is the idea. And you have all this liberal, I don't know what to say. They are also monsters, NPCs. They endorse these people coming into the United States, giving them a chance, giving them money, giving them a mobile phone, giving them shelter, giving them everything. For the sake of what? For the sake of what? What does any country have to win from this? Oh, immigration is important because Tom Homan's words are the best. Go to the port of entry. You want to come into the United States, you want to come into the UK, you want to come into France, go to the port of entry and, well, present your visa. Oh, that is interesting. Did you have to present a visa to enter? How do you get a visa before entering the country? You go to the embassy of the country in your home country and request a process in which the ways that you have to enter the country. Oh, you know what is one of the requirements that they ask you? One of the most important requirements, if you have criminal records. If you have criminal records, you will not get granted a visa no matter what you do. It's that simple. It's that simple. So my question is, if these people are so retarded in so many ways, the people who want to not enforce these laws, to the people who enter the country legally with a visa, you make sure that they don't have criminal records. To the people who enter illegally, you not only let them enter the country, but I really don't understand how that works. The asylum laws, all that I find retarded. I'm going to tell you what happens here. We Latinos, and I have to say I am a Latino, I'm Venezuelan. And I've told you that in Venezuela we have viveza criolla. Viveza criolla is something like if we can take advantage of something, we will. It is a thing. It's something that is ingrained in our system. We were born with that, as we were born with eyes at the back of our heads and all that stuff. Some of us, we want to live in high trust society. I despise having any kind of links to the viveza criolla, a ser vivo. You know that that is being able to cheat without getting caught. That is, if in Venezuela, I have to be clear about this. And some of you, I know that many Venezuelans are watching my show, and you might get angry, but you cannot deny that this is something that so many Venezuelans they live like this. The more you cheat and the more you get away with, the more respected you will be. It is, I could never. That's why I love Japan. I thought that a code of honor. That's why I love the United States up until, well, some time ago when it was a high trust society. It is not a high trust society anymore. And this is what happens when you let some of these animals inside your country, because these are not human. These are subhumans. These are monsters, and they have to be treated as such. And they should be used to give an example. Public drawn and quartering, slow boiling. I don't care. Do something. Do something to send a message. Do something to send a message. You have so many countries, like Singapore, for example, that they can be really, really harsh on certain crimes. And you could get creative as well. No, but you have to be humane. You have to give people a chance and all that stuff. You should give your citizens a chance. You should give people that are your citizens a chance. And there's all this mess about people who were born in the United States. For example, a baby is born in the United States and it's automatically a citizen of the United States. That is complicated in terms of law, because I think that international law is that is a thing, right? I don't know how the United States could, or Donald Trump could, bypass or take that back from the Constitution. I think this is the Constitution. But so many people try to game the system. And so many Americans, and especially left-leaning Americans, or uh, uh, liberal Americans don't understand the kind of people you're dealing with. I know the kind of people you're dealing with. And that's why I tell you, if you let the Tren de Aragua invade your cities, and some of you have told me, oh, they will be no match for Chicago gangs. Okay, they will be no match for Chicago gangs, for example, for say something. Oh, Chicago gangs will eat them alive. I will tell you, the Venezuelan gangs have nothing, have absolutely nothing to lose. I would bet, if this was a bet, I would bet good money on the Venezuelan gangs and invading every single, and recruiting. If the Venezuelan gangs is not going to be only comprised of Venezuelan people, sooner than later they're going to recruit locals, maybe some gang members of those Chicago gangs, for example. Just I have no information. I don't know if the Tren de Aragua is in Chicago, but somebody said that the Chicago gangs are going to scare them away. I will still bet on the Venezuelan gangs. I would still bet on the Venezuelan gangs, and I was so upset by this. I don't think the law is harsh enough in any country, and I don't care where you come from. That is something that I should be very clear. It's not that he is Venezuelan. He could be Peruvian. He could be American. He could be, I don't care. But in this case, if he's American, he's inside the country. All right, that's one thing. But it's absurd that you let people in your country and you give all these resources. I would say this over and over again. It's the most absurd thing to let illegals into your country, and you catch them at the border. You check whatever they say it's their name, because they destroy. It's like in Europe, before they arrive into European countries, they destroy their passports so they cannot be identified. They can just start anew with a made-up name, with a made-up, completely fresh ID number in the country that receives them. That is insane. Why don't you take them back? Okay, in this case, in the case of Europe, you have a problem that they usually arrive by boat. How do you take them back? Because they most surely will drown in the ocean. That would be a big fuck up, an international fuck up if you do that. That is one thing. But this is the southern border in the United States. They're not gonna drown. It's Mexico. You just make them Mexico's problem. It's that simple. You don't let them into the United States. Why would you do that? That is retarded. There's no other way. There's no other way to call that. That is the most retarded take and approach to the immigration question. You leave them in Mexico. Why? Because then they are Mexico's problem. And then Mexico will realize, oh, the U.S. is doing this for real. So we have all these migrants in our soil causing all this trouble. Yeah, they are Mexico's problem now. Then Mexico will make sure to not let them enter the country on their southern border in the first place. But something's got to give. Something has to give. You have to stop them. But again, as I'm telling you over and over again, this is not simply a question that this is retarded or not. This is a matter that governments do this on purpose to cause chaos. chaos to control you. Um, a population in chaos with crime, with all this, with what's going on in the UK, lives in fear, lives in anxiety. What can you do? Where are you going to go? That is your country. I am a nomad right now. I don't have any country that I call mine. I'm Venezuelan, but I cannot enter my country. That is quite a dilemma. Right now, I'm resigned to just be like pretty much homeless in terms of a country, but it is it has advantages in many ways, but you feel that sense that you would like to rest your head and say that, okay, this is a country that I can rest my head and I can have roots in here. Maybe something that you want. I have to keep mobile right now. But if you are an U.S. citizen and you have lived in your state, in your county, in your city all your life, or maybe you like the city you live in, maybe you moved from other cities and you like the city you live in, and you all of a sudden have this kind of trouble, what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? How are you going to fight this? This is something that we could be talking for hours, something that really concerns me. And that's why, in the case of the United States, that's why it's rather easy when we talk about presidential elections, because it's just, in this case, two candidates. That is rather easy. It's not that easy, when we talk about the Senate or the House of Representatives, because we have to go one by one and discover if they actually have the interests of the American citizens